right, let's get started.
2, 1.
Hello, Nimbronies. Come on.
Go ahead.
We just start off and I was like, it's fucking funny. Hello, Nimbronies. Welcome back to the Nimbus Tattoo Podcast, episode number...
Doesn't matter.
I forget. 15.
Within the top 20.
I think it's 15.
Anywhere between 15 and 20. Welcome back. We're going to reuse this intro next week.
Honestly, that'd be pretty great.
Just run it. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, they try to like 1990X for like a year. It's like, this is episode 1X. Just run it. I think it's 15 or 16.
I think it's 15.
We'll find out.
We'll find out next time. We're back from Anime Inc. We took a week off. We're back. We're here with the ever handsome, ever talented Mitchell. Mitchell, what's your app?
Tattoo breakfast.
Thank you so much. The man, the myth, the legend, Chris. Chris, what's your app?
Chris House _tattoo.
We're here with the second most handsome apprentice aside of the lower metro Atlanta area, Josh. Josh, what's your app?
Opinionated Otaku.
Big John is here as always. Big John, what's your app?
Johnny M. Mond.
Thank you so much. And then Scott's here. Scott's back, everybody. Everybody missed Scott.
Scott's back?
Scott.
Scott's back. Scott, what's your app?
Sir Scotter.
Sir Scotter. Make sure you,
I like that a lot,
make
actually.
sure you follow Scott, dude. He has the
Give him some
cloudest
follows.
posts, dude. And then there's me, you know, Michael. Starscream's hyped.
I hope that came through.
I really
Yeah,
hope
I'm
that
sure-
did.
I'm sure
He's
it
like freaking out. Michael at Michael on the internet. Thank you for 251 followers. Fuck the person that unfollowed me for that eagle.
Hey, let's go.
And we're back from Anime Inc. We're gonna talk about Anime Inc. We're gonna talk about our fun. It was me, Josh, and Mitch's first convention.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Period.
Yeah, of any
Yeah.
kind.
Of anything. So we're gonna get into it. Who wants to go first?
How do you want to do this?
How do you want to go?
Do you want to go first? Do you-
No, y'all can go first because I've done.
Scott's upset that you forgot about the video game convention you went to. With
We
him.
did go to the video game convention.
Well, to be clear, I've been to not Anime Inc. I've been to Anime Week in Atlanta before and like a couple other ones.
They're talking about tattoo.
We're talking about
conventions.
tattoo.
I have never been
conventions.
to any convention before.
the
Oh,
video
that's
game
crazy.
convention was my first convention, but this is my first
Oh.
tattoo
Well-
convention.
Yeah, Ashley hadn't been to any at all. So I mean, I had to explain the concept to her beforehand, and she was very confused.
Oh yeah.
It's just a bunch of.
So what do you
Guys,
mean?
tattoo
People getting
over
together? Like,
It's just one of them
In
cartoon,
one place?
Well,
conventions.
I guess I'll go first
Go
if,
first, dude.
if Chris isn't gonna go.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. So this is my first tattoo convention I've ever been to or participated in or whatever. I actually wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go at first because I've had like a ton of personal stuff going on, so like I wasn't really sure if it was going to work out. And I kind of ended up going not last minute, but kind of like the month before I like actually started booking my stuff, which was kind of scary. But anyway, it was cool. I drove to North Carolina and I met up with Russell and Maddie. If you guys follow us, you probably also follow them. But if you don't, it's Russell Tattoo and Doki Doki Tattoos. I shared a booth with Maddie, who's been a friend of mine for a long time since before all of us tattooed. So I drove to North Carolina and stayed with them, and then drove the rest of the way up with them and like packed all of our stuff up in like this little car and stuff. It was really cool. I'm trying to think like where to even start because it was such a crazy experience.
On the ride up.
yeah.
Yeah, let's start there.
Let's start with the ride up,
Let's
Mitchell.
start there.
So, me and Josh drove together. Mitch drove with Russell and Maddie, and me and Josh are going through North Carolina, and then this car just slowly approaches us and like passes, and then slows back down, and we're like, "Is that Mitch?" It was Mitch, Russell, and Maddie. Completely not intended. Me and Josh had left Atlanta at like 10,
Yeah.
and this was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was weird. I was like, we were driving up, and I was like, I recognize that car. I was like, that's Michael's car.
And Russell's
And
like, "What?"
which is funny because I looked at it, I was like, that's got a North Carolina license plate. I was like, that's got to be Michael. And I was like, I'm in North
Yeah,
Carolina.
I
I was like, that might not be Michael.
Yeah.
But we ended up we were all together, so I texted him. We ended up going to Cracker Barrel,
Cracker
and,
Barrel,
eating
dude.
together and stuff, which was
So
fun.
good.
It was cool. And
Dude, shout out to Cracker Barrel. That stuff was good.
yeah,
It was.
I haven't been to Cracker Barrel in like 10 years.
so
Biscuits.
I guess I was kind of I'm gonna try not to drag too long on anything, so that way everybody gets like a good chance to talk about
Dude,
all
take
their
your time.
experiences. But it was freaking nuts because because it was my first one, like I really wanted to compete super bad. So I got to compete 2 of the days. Like one of the days my client had to leave early, so that was cool. It was just crazy because you feel like crunched for time. So I ended up just like
He's coughing.
Chris's
Hold on.
cat is like sneezing all over
It's okay,
Josh's
buddy.
hands. It ended up just being crazy. Like we got there and the booth was way smaller than I was expecting it to be, and it was me and Maddie in there. So I was like, God, how are we gonna like fit 2 massage tables and like lights and armrests and like everything else we need? And fortunately, Chris had asked the manager of the convention to, I guess, put us next to each other. So I ended up taking the border between our 2 booths and just moved it. So we just had like one huge booth with 3 of us in it, which was actually cool. I had way more fun that way. But yeah, I like met just so many people. There were so many artists that I've looked forward to, and like I'm almost scared to like mention names because I don't want to leave somebody out. You know what I mean?
If Mitch leaves you out, he still loves you.
But like no, there's people I've like messaged online before, like just to, like talk to in comments and stuff. Like Esco, like I've like really always wanted to meet Esco, and he was such a cool dude, and his work was so good, and I think he won some awards for it, which was great. I'm like super happy for him. I finally met Alan, who is somebody like I get a huge amount of inspiration from, and I think he's like a ridiculously good artist, and he was very, very friendly. Got to see people that we like really love, like Gio or Sad Chicano, if you are looking to follow him on Instagram. We love Gio so much at our shop. Just like a ton of other people. Like I met like JP. There are other people like one of our friend Vaughn, who's coming to work with us. He showed up even though he wasn't working. Like the second or third day, he just like popped up and like hung out with us for a bit. Chris Rogers was there. He's coming to work with us too, and like Chris also won something. I mean,
He won
his work
first
is
place in 2 categories.
Two
yeah.
categories on
Before
the
we
first day.
started, we were talking about how good his work is. He's really he's also just a great dude. So obviously, if you don't follow him, please do. Yeah, it was great, man. We just like met a ton of people, which is both a good thing in a way, and not that it's a bad thing. But I remember that being like the thing that I kind of not like had a rough time with, but it's super overwhelming when you're like trying to tattoo and you're like in a little box. Like I didn't even have a chair, so I was like I'm like standing, just doing this tattoo with no breaks. I'm just meeting.
He
like,
had a
person
chair.
after
Yeah, to
person
clarify,
after
he
person.
had a chair.
I had a
Yeah.
chair,
Yeah.
but the room was so tight
Yes.
though. It's like I didn't really
sitting
have a
and
good way
trying
of
to
using
get
it.
in
So
there.
I ended up like kicking it under my like massage
Table,
table.
yeah.
And I just like stood and did the tattoo, which was like fine, but it just ends up being like a very socially overwhelming experience. And like I think I slept like a total of like 6 hours over the course of this weekend.
Yeah.
Which was just like so you're like sleep deprived and like working, and like the first day like printers were broke, and like I was like standing in line trying to get my stuff. It was nuts. It really quick. Like I'm gonna tell this anecdote, but it's not Chris's fault. I waffled super hard whether or not I was coming, but they were setting up an Airbnb.
Oh, no.
And I like
This was gonna
he
come
was
up.
like I decided I was coming like the day after they booked it, and he's like, cool man, like I'm really glad you're going. Like we already booked the Airbnb, so like I hope you find a good place to stay or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, it's chill. And I don't really care that much about where I like how I sleep and stuff. So I hit up Russell and Maddie, and I was like, hey, you guys care if I like stay with you guys or whatever? Like I don't care if like how you want to split it up if you guys haven't already done that. And they're like, yeah, that's cool, but like Maddie's friend Keegan's coming too, so like we don't really have like a lot of room. I was like, I don't even care if I like sleep in a chair or something. Turns out small room, no chairs, so floor for me, which was fine. But we were walking down the street the first day, and Wade Wilson's like I guess
Whitman.
Wait, I said Wade Wilson.
Hold on.
That's Deadpool. Deadpool's
Deadpool calls,
No,
you
no,
know you
no.
gotta let Deadpool do
Let me
something.
finish. And so Wade Whitman's talking
Chris
to
is
Michael,
dying right now.
and we love Wade too. He's guest spotted us before. He was gonna do a tattoo for Michael, and he didn't have a place to stay because it was also kind of like last minute. So he's like, "Hey man, like let me call Chris and see if he'll just be cool if you crash on the couch." And he calls Chris on the speakerphone. He's like, "Hey, you care if like Wade sleeps on the couch?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, like 100%." And I was like, I looked at Michael and he got on the phone. And I was like, "That bitch." I was like, he's gonna make me sleep on the floor.
For the record, Wade didn't even use
Oh, I know,
the-
I know,
Alright.
I know. Wait, hold on. No, go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so
You're fine.
we were holding off on getting an Airbnb. Like we like went through a bunch of them, and we found like some really nice ones that like we wanted to get. And like I was like, Mitch is like waffling on whether or not he wanted to go, so we put it off. And then the day came where I was like, we have to book this. And Mitch was like, I am not going. And I was like, okay. So then we book one. But we go to book the one that we wanted. It was taken. So I was like, Josh, just
That
pick
Airbnb
one.
was so cool too.
I was like, Josh, just pick one. I don't care. So Josh picked one. I never even saw it.
I didn't know what we're going into.
Right? I had no fucking clue. So it was just booked. I was like, all right, cool. And then like a day or two later, Mitch is like, hey, I'm going to go. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, and my response was, yeah, like I hope you find a good place to stay because like we already booked it. And like I didn't book it, and like the only thing Josh really told me about it was like it wasn't the one we wanted. It was smaller, and I was like, that's all the information I had, right? And he's like, oh, it's cool. I hit up Russell and Maddie anyway, and I was like, all right, cool. So me thinking he hit them up, it's Russell and Maddie, and so I was like, oh, so they probably got like 2 beds, and like he's just gonna take the second bed because that makes sense. That's like where my brain went. So then we get to the Airbnb. Complete shithole, by the way.
Oh God,
Like-
I'm gonna talk
I
about this
forgot. I need to
Airbnb.
write a review. It was
So
garbage.
complete shit. One of the windows was completely caved in.
It was definitely scary.
Well, so
Sorry.
we'll get into that, but so we get there and like we realize there's a full couch, and I was like, oh, there's a full fucking couch,
Comfy ass couch.
and I was like, oh, that's crazy. And I didn't reach out to Mitch because he already found a place to stay. So then we were at the convention, and like Wade wants to come, but Wade's like, oh, I don't have a place to stay. And now Michael was like, well, you can stay with us. It turns out we have a couch. So like I hadn't communicated with Mitch at this point. So like then he like got all weird with me at dinner.
Oh, no.
All right. Here's like he either acted like he was mad at me or he was mad at me.
I was not mad.
But
at
even
you at
still, it
all.
was like, yeah, man. So like, I didn't even know what the fuck this place looked like. So don't come at me.
No, I was
Had I-
not
and
actually
then
mad at you.
and then when he told us he was sleeping on the floor, I was like,
We
Wade
like-
isn't staying with us. Just sleep on the couch. And he said, I would rather sleep on the
Oh,
ground
I did say
outside.
that. I was like, I would rather sleep in the cold outside on the
And
sidewalk.
then the next day, I was like, how'd you sleep?
Take Wade's leftovers. Absolutely
And then the
not.
next day, I was like, how'd you sleep? And he was like, I slept on the floor. It kind of sucked. And I was like, do you want to sleep on the couch? He's like, I would rather
No,
die in the
I
streets.
didn't say that. I actually slept fine. I was okay on the floor.
But
it
it's
really
like,
wasn't that bad.
but it was like,
The worst part is Russell kept throwing his dirty clothes on me. I woke up in the morning, his pants were like on my head, and I was like, "Bro, what are you doing?" Like,
yeah. And my response was, do you want to sleep on the couch? He's like,
We had a couch and a chair.
he's like, I would rather sleep on the street.
I was just,
and I was
kidding.
like,
I didn't
all right,
actually.
that's fine.
all right.
But
I
was
wasn't actually mad.
But the full context does not make me look like an asshole.
You're not an
Mitch's context.
I
made
was.
me look like an
That
asshole.
was the point of the story. Chris didn't do anything
All
wrong. I really did waffle, and it was just a funny moment.
But so we're talking about the drive up. I don't really think I've gotten the chance to tell all of you guys about this yet. So on the drive up, we decided to stop halfway, like Ashley and I, and like we stopped in Charlotte, and we just booked like a random hotel. So we get there. Turns out, crack motel.
Hell yeah.
Sick. So we go to the front desk. Everything, we go in, and we get the key cards. We go like to like wherever the fuck the place is. We try to open the door, and the door like opens but gets caught by like a latch, and we're like, oh shit, what the, like, that's weird. So like we like try to do it again, and then we're just like, hello. We just hear someone go, and we're like, oh shit, my bad. So like we like close the door and go to the front desk, and we're like, hey, someone. Well, we try to go to the front desk, but the guy from the front desk was like doing rounds or something. So we like stop and we're like, hey, like there's someone in our room. So like I guess like in the system you just double booked it or whatever. And the guy's like, no one is supposed to be in there. And we're like,
Love that.
oh, cool. So he's like, 1 second. So he goes, makes a beeline for it, and the dude, this like 6'5" dude with like a backpack and a hoodie, just like leaves the fucking room and just starts going down. And the guy's like, hey, come here. And the guy just fucking bails. Completely fucking bails.
Hell yeah.
And Ash and I turned to each other at that point and we're like, all right, it's 1 a.m. Are we staying here? Or are we going somewhere else? So we ended up staying there.
What?
Why?
No shot.
We got a different room, and we just moved the couch completely in front of the door.
I would not stay there.
It was 1 a.m. We were both completely exhausted, and we're like, we slept on top of the sheets, like, because it just wasn't good, dude.
Yeah, I feel that.
It was like a crack hotel or motel that they were like renovating to like look nicer, so the photos online look nice, and then you go and then you can tell by the elevator because it's like
It's
where
like
the
our
people.
Airbnb.
Yeah. So like you go into like the elevator and it's like, burn marks and like blood. It's just normal crack motel.
Every motel in Sumter County just.
So like Anime Inc. was super fun, but like definitely the two places that I stayed were fucking awful. Like the experience was good, but like the sleeping situations were not good. I don't like Richmond.
Yeah.
Richmond sucks. That place was built for fucking horses. It wasn't built for like cars.
Well, what I was actually gonna say, after like the weight
there ain't
thing.
no parking.
No.
What I was gonna say after the weight thing is I've had like 4 clients from Richmond before we went that I talked to, and they're like, yeah, like, are you excited? And I was like, yeah, I'm like looking forward to it. It's my first convention. Like, oh, it's awesome. Like, it's gonna be great. Like, where are you going? And I was like, oh, it's in Virginia. And they're like, oh, damn, bro, I'm sorry. And I'm like, oh, it's like, why? And he's like, what part of Virginia? And it's like, oh, like Richmond. He's like, oh no, man. And like that happened like 3 times, and I was like, why are you saying that? It's like, oh, dude, it's so dangerous. Like, don't even leave the convention center. Like, you'll get like robbed. It's like the #1 place for like gun and knife violence in like the Eastern U.S. Like, just like saying all this stuff, and I was like, great. But Richmond was the parts of it that I saw, which we like walked several like. Let me finish my thought for the convention. Yeah, right. It's just like, without getting too far into everything, we just ended up getting to a whole bunch of crazy stuff. We walked like several miles in the cold.
Several miles, my ass.
It was several.
That was several miles.
It was several miles.
Maybe it was like,
and
on
even
that
more
night,
for
yes.
you.
Okay.
yeah.
I'm not you and Josh's 2 blocks.
It was not Mitch.
All right.
How far away?
Wait.
Okay.
Just let me.
All right.
Jeez, y'all. Yes. Anyway, so we did that. We hung out with just like a bunch of people. It was great. I will say, I had a lot of people ask me if like I had a good time. Like, I'm really glad I went. I don't know if I had like a lot of fun because like, no, I mean like, you're shaking your head, but I think a lot of that's just like, if you're going through a lot of like personal stuff,
yes,
like being around like a million people like that, and like it's like being at a convention is kind of like doing your regular job, but it's like, what if we made everything extra inconvenient? Like for like several days, you don't sleep a lot. Like like I said, I was probably on like 4 hours of sleep, and it was like 2 a.m. the second night, and I was with Michael and Josh to give me a ride back, and we stopped at a Wawa, and I've never been to a Wawa.
Oh man!
And I was just, Josh went to the bathroom, looked at Michael, and I was like, what do you think Josh should do if I just like bought a gallon of chocolate milk and started drinking it in the car like a Yoo-hoo or something? Which is like, in retrospect, is like not that funny.
No,
it was good how you played it.
I like bought it, and like Josh didn't even see me buy it, and so we're in the car.
Mitch went through the entire self-checkout with this gallon of fucking milk.
Chocolate milk, yeah, it was great. And so I was in the back seat, and like we're all just like talking, and like Michael's backing out. I just started like chugging it, and like Josh turns around like mid conversation. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, like drinking chocolate milk, bro. Like
that's like, it's maybe the hardest I've laughed all year.
Yeah.
I was crying.
Mitch had to open the door and like spit it out
Yeah.
the car.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna hose the inside of your car, man. But like, it's not really that funny when you're that tired. It's like, you're just so unable to like not laugh at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did that, and yeah, it was cool. Like the last night, I was really like ready to go, and like you still have to like say your byes to everybody. So like we went out to eat like one last time, and like we were just there for like 2 hours, like waiting for our food.
The
to
food
come.
was actually really
The food
good,
was the fries were mid. Me and Faith had those fries, and they were not good.
Me and Russell drove back to North Carolina. We were up until like 4:30 in the morning. We got back to his apartment. I just literally fell face down in his guest bed, slept for like 6 hours, got up, and then drove the rest of the way back to Georgia. So it's like, it took me like 3 days to recover physically from all of that. But it was good. And like, I'm gonna do it again, next year, I think, for sure. There are going to be things that I do different, and I'm sure you guys learned some stuff from it too.
100%.
But, like, as much as I like sharing a booth with Maddie and stuff, I will get my own booth for sure. Yeah. I'll get one next to like Chris or someone. Yeah. But I'll get my own booth, and I'm probably going to rent a van of my own. Because the worst thing in the world ever to me is like, if you go out with a large group of people, it's always like fun, like meeting people and hang out with your friends and stuff. But like when you're ready to go and you can't leave because you were with somebody else, it's like, you're just like, all right, like, I guess I'll just chill for a while. I could have Ubered, but like it was one of those things where I was like, hey, like, should I? And it's like, no, like we're probably gonna leave soon. It's like, all right, cool. You know, like 45 minutes passed, and it's like, I'll just hold out. You know what I mean? It's it was a lot. But
That one night, I was like, cool, I'm ready to go, and it's 12:30. I think we stayed there till like 2:45, and I was like, bro, I just want to go.
yeah,
I'm so sleepy.
Yeah, it was interesting for me because like I've done conventions in the past, so like I knew what to expect, and just like watching everybody make mistakes that like I've made, I'm like,
yeah.
just gotta let it happen, man.
But I didn't forget. I thought for sure I was gonna forget something in terms of like packing or something like that.
Well, like for example, conventions just have like unreliable things, right? So you're talking the printer, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I already had all my stencils made. I had like 3 different sizes of all of my stencils, depending on like the size of the client. So like I never had to like rely on the printer or the thermofax at all. And that is something I learned in the past because like you have a time crunch and then you have to like wait in line and then you have to stencil and then you have to start. So it's like adding in an extra hour and a half onto your day immediately. And if you're trying to compete, that's an hour and a half you took away from yourself.
Yeah.
So you just gotta do that shit at home.
Oh yeah, it was super stressful, but that was mostly my experience, like barring the super tiny details of it. So,
Yep.
Who wants to go next?
Okay. It was fun. I had a lot of fun. It was definitely the most fun I've had at a convention.
Yeah.
It was nice to put a lot of faces to names.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of people who I follow for a super long time. Like Mitch was saying, like Alan and Esco and like Zeke, Rob, like just meeting everyone in person and like them actually being as nice as like I perceived them to be online. Like everyone we met was super nice.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't encounter one person who like I had known prior and was like, damn, they were a dick. Like everyone is super, super nice. Getting to see a lot of everyone's work in person.
Sorry,
No.
I made a face at that, Josh.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting to see everyone's work in person was really kind of surreal, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like you're just kind of looking around and you're like, I can see what's gonna be on the internet in a week, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and just seeing it all, which is crazy. What is happening?
Starscream's
Cat.
scratching at the door, so Scott's gonna let him in.
Oh, okay. Why are you doing this so slow, Scott?
He doesn't want to make noise.
Sneaky
there
Scott.
he is. But no, it was cool. I had a lot of fun. I really liked all the tattoos that I did. Like most of the time, whenever I do conventions, there'll be like at least one day where like I felt rushed or like I just like really wasn't into something I did for whatever reason. But I legitimately liked all the tattoos that I did. All my clients were super nice. So that was fun. That was good. It was also nice that like we got to take a photo and announce everyone who's gonna be working at the shop.
Yep.
That was a good surprise because like Mitch said, we didn't know Vaughn was gonna come, so being able to do that was like a fun thing. So then like we had a lot of people coming out to us on Sunday, like congratulating us and everybody. So that was really nice. Next year we're definitely gonna have to get like a really big corner
Mega booth.
Yeah. Just take down the borders between like 7.
No,
booths.
you can just get like
You can get like a pod.
Or can you just a huge?
Yeah.
Oh, let's do that then.
yeah, that's definitely what we're gonna have to do. But and overall, I had a really good time. But yeah, recovering from it sucked. Like I'm still tired.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night. We're like, bro, I'm just tired.
Yeah, and then like the weather's really dreary now, so like that doesn't help. But and I gotta get caught up because I gotta play Sonic next week. So, but yeah, whoever else wants
Did
to.
anything else happen on Sunday, Chris?
Oh, Chris got second
Oh,
place.
I did.
Best of day.
I did.
Yeah.
That's cool. It was funny. So the podcast episode we did with Vaughn, where we talk about tattooing on darker skin, turns out the client that I tattooed that day saw the episode of the podcast and he felt comfortable with me doing his tattoo because of that.
He was also just so sweet. Shout out to him.
Yeah, he was
all
great.
your clients.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but he got tattooed by Geo a lot.
Yep.
And so he was familiar with me through Geo and then watched the podcast about tattooing on darker skin. And he felt confident that I could do a colorful tattoo. He came, didn't question anything I did the tattoo, won second place for it. I was the only person who placed in any of the competitions the entire weekend. I'm the only one who entered in like a darker skin client. And it was so funny. Like Josh, I think you were telling me that a couple of tattoo friends of ours came up. Was like, oh, like which one is Chris? And like you pointed out my client, and they're like, oh, did Chris do like black and gray? And you're like, no, he did color. And everyone's like,
yeah, there's definitely multiple people were surprised at how vibrant the colors were and were like blown away.
Yeah, like because I've known in the past some people have made comments about like they thought that my tattoos were like doctored or something. So I got to shut some people up, which was sick. And the fact that I got to do it on someone like in show representation was like, I thought that was super important. So yeah, I'm proud of that win.
Bringing home the W, man. 3 W's coming into that shop, baby.
How many conventions do you think you've been to?
Not that many. I mean, I've been like tattooed at or sorry, like tattooed at specifically or like just
like you're asking working or you?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many have you worked at?
I think 5.
Okay. Cool.
Not a ton,
Yeah.
but
for people that are listening that don't tattoo, that's not like an abnormal number to just do like 5. Like there are some people though that like that's actually like they do like a convention circuit. Like they pretty much don't even work at a shop. They'll just kind of like bounce from convention to convention. In some cases, which is crazy.
Could not be me.
Yeah. It's
No,
wild.
that was
I've known people who just travel like they'll use that as a way to like make connections and stuff, and then they'll like find people that they like in certain cities, and then they'll just like in between them they'll just like go to their shop and do like guest spots and just like kind of travel around.
Yeah.
If they're trying to find a place to permanently live, they'll just kind of scope it out. Not a bad way to do it.
Yeah. I don't think I would enjoy that.
Nah.
Personally.
No, I mean I wouldn't either, but I'm very much like home base oriented. But what about y'all? Apprentices at a convention.
Yeah, for you guys not tattooing, what was it like?
Man. Do you want to go first or want me to go first?
I don't care.
I don't care.
I have like questions for you guys. I want to like interview y'all.
Dude, hit us with some questions.
Well, like hit me with your impressions first.
Go first, Josh.
Okay. So for me, it was probably genuinely, without being sarcastic or hyperbolic, it was one of the best weekends I've had definitely in the last couple of years. Like I had a very good time. Like I've never felt so I posted about this. I made a really long post on my Instagram, but like I really felt completely welcomed by everyone. And for someone who has not even started tattooing yet, for so many people that I've looked up to for a long time to take the time to talk to me and follow me and encourage me about, you know, everything I'm getting into was like, it was just super special to me, honestly. And I hung out with some people a lot, like Esco and Gio especially. I was with them a ton and I love them both. Like neither one of them tattooed the third day, and I was going around spending way too much money that day, and they were just walking around with me. So that was awesome. I loved it so much. Yeah, and everyone I met, like we said, it would be hard to list everyone, but Alan was great. Like everyone, there's a group of people that we went to dinner every night pretty much. So it's like Esco, Alan, Gio, Nix, Faith, and Rob and their whole group. Callum, love Callum.
Yeah. Dude, shout
Zach.
out to Callum.
Yeah, just so many amazing people. I had so much fun. The apprentice side of it, it's definitely more stressful. Obviously, I felt, even coming back to the shop, I was so out of sorts from like just that weekend of everything being so different. So, you know, setting up, tearing down, it's like, it's a little bit of a nightmare because it's like, oh my God, this is so not what I'm used to. So that part was a little crazy, and definitely how tight and confined everything was. Like Mitch said, like Mitch was set up in the middle, then Maddie's over here, Chris is over here, and it's like,
yeah, we're trying to like dig through these bins of shirts.
Yeah,
and
oh
like,
man, yeah.
Oh,
so that part was crazy. I definitely think we've obviously learned some stuff from this year that to take into next year, and we'll have more room, and it'll be exciting just to have everyone in the bigger booth next year. So that's going to be cool. But I mean, there was nothing really bad happened. Chris was very prepared. Like he said, he had stencils ready to go. Michael and I were both too scared to do the stencils because he was like, you got one.
I did it on the last day.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
He was like, I only have one, so if you mess it up, I'm screwed. And I was like, I do not want that on my shoulders.
Yeah, so Chris did the first 2 days, and then he looked at me and was, I'm going to go walk around. And he handed it to me, and I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I heard him say it the first day. He's like, all right, either of y'all up for this? You only get one shot. And you both were like, no.
Well,
I was like, neither one of y'all.
Because then we heard like the printers were not working and the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi was out, and I was like, I'm not risking that.
And the first day was like he had a tattoo on the other side of his arm, and he's getting something the next
Yeah.
day on the top part. I'm like, it had to be really specific where it was going, and I was like, oof. But yeah, so that part was obviously the most stressful part. I hate driving. I hate driving with all my heart. Yeah, it's awful. Michael drove the entire way up during the day, and then Sunday night, Michael drove a couple hours, and then I drove like the last 5 hours, and we got home at like 9:30 in the morning, and I was destroyed.
Not the way, dude. That
Probably was not
it.
the way. I was being very stubborn about it.
Yeah,
I
I was
really
like,
wanted to get home.
I was like, we can just stop like halfway. Like we could have stayed at Chris's mom's house.
Yeah,
Like, we
I gotta
gotta
see my
drive,
mom.
bro. We gotta drive, dude. We gotta get
Yeah,
driving.
I don't know, man. I
Is
just
it 'cause-
wanted to get back
Was it
to
because
my
there were
own bed.
ghosts in that house?
That's part of it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was not about to stay there. I was like, wait a second, this is where Russell. I was like, no, not going there. So, anyways, and then yeah, the sleeping was the worst. I'm glad we
Oh
were
my
out till like
God.
2 a.m. every night because I was too tired to worry about where I was sleeping. So I just came home, knocked out, got back up the next day, and got ready to go. But that Airbnb sucked a lot.
We have to do a whole segment about the Airbnb, bro.
Yeah,
It was an absolute nightmare.
It sucked. It was scary, and the best part was there's a sweet cat though. Michael found a sweet cat.
Yeah, I did find
outside.
that sweet cat. I gotta put that video on my Instagram.
Yeah. But overall, amazing. Like, I loved it. I loved everyone I met. Like, almost everyone lived up to my expectations or exceeded them. Some people I was surprised by. Based on their online presence, I was like, are they going to be nice? And then in person, they're like the sweetest person ever. So it was just, yeah, it was great. Like, I can't say enough about the anime tattoo community. It's crazy.
But you're saying if you want this panther, and
Oh, man.
What about you, Michael?
Dude, I had so much fun. We had gone to Soho and done that whole thing, so I knew exactly how crazy setting up somewhere different than what you're used to is, and I went, Josh, buddy.
Literally.
I was like,
This is you, buddy.
I was like, this one's you. This one's you, champ. I'm gonna unload the toolbox. So it was cool to see everybody. Shout out to Wade, Gio, Esco, Faith, Rob, Callum, Zach, sweet Zach,
Artie. I forgot Artie.
Artie.
So
Artie's
good.
so good.
Rob.
I already said Rob.
Did you? Okay.
Wade. I bullied Wade into coming. Wade was not gonna come,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we kind of all mutually
and
bullied him.
bullied Wade into coming. Thank you, Wade, for tattooing.
We got
me.
Cody Ellison on that too.
Yeah, Cody Ellis also bullied Wade in, which was great. Shout out to the people across from us because they had to deal with the absolute just madhouse that was our booth.
Yeah, at a certain point, it became apparent that our booth became like the congregating booth
Yep.
because
We were kind of right in the middle of the convention.
Yeah. At one point, we were standing there. It was all of us plus Maddie plus Keegan, Gio Esco, Brian was there, Vaughn was there, Chris Rogers was there.
I think Russell was with Maddie. At the
Russell
time.
was there trying to sell these stickers. It was like so many people just crammed in this thing. But no, it was super fun to meet everybody. Shout out to Chris's clients. Thank you for the pop, which was
Oh,
very
God,
nice.
yeah,
very nice for you, Thomas, to bring us those
Yes.
gifts. That was very sweet.
Thank you.
Shout out to Thomas's friend who recognized me in the bathroom.
Yeah, that dude was nice.
That he was such a sweet guy. But I was in the bathroom. I'm washing my hands. He goes, "Are you? Oh crap, Michael from the internet?" And I was like, "I am." I was like, "That is me." He's like, "So happy to meet you." And I was like, "I'm so happy to meet you."
That is honestly one of the wildest things. Like the amount of people who just know who you are is insane.
Yeah.
'Cause, like I would just be walking around and people would just automatically know like who you are and stuff. And like people were like afraid to come up and talk to us. That was strange.
I think it's mostly you.
I don't know why.
There's a
though.
lot of There's
Well, it's because there's a bit of a risk because there's a 50-50 chance you could walk up and be like, hey, are you Chris House? I love your work. And you'd be like, thanks, man. I appreciate that so much. Hope you're having a good day. And there's the other chance that you're like, hey, man, I love your work. And you're like, what do you want, peon? You trying to buy a hoodie?
Yeah.
No, get out of here.
The fuck
You're-
out of here.
Talk to my
Brooks.
apprentices.
Yeah.
No, but I had a
Yeah.
good time. Everybody was super nice. Everybody's super chill. It was nice to watch on Saturday. Saturday I did recon all day because Chris was like, I'm getting in this fucking competition. I was sitting over there watching Russell for like 30 minutes, and I'm like, all right, let me go check on Isner.
I was
What's
telling
Isner
Michael
doing?
to
All right, let me go
sneak
check on Artie.
pictures.
What's Art do?
I was like, take a photo of like Russell's progress. Let me see what Artie's doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, go check on Artie. What's
Artie
Artie
did
doing?
a sick
Dude,
God.
Artie is
man.
too good.
Yeah, it's a
But no.
shame his guy wasn't there for the last day.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was rough. But no, it was super fun. Shout out to everybody who went out to eat with us all those nights.
Something to say about that, which is funny. So at every convention, there's always like a big after party where people like go and drink and like do whatever. Most of the ones at Anime Inc. this year were like raves and shit.
Yep.
And there's like normally it's like, oh, did you go to the after party? And it's like that's where everyone is. I don't know how this happened, but we just asked people if they wanted to go get tacos with us. And there became this like weird split in like the after party where like people either went and got shit faced or they just came with us to get tacos. And that happened twice.
Yeah, it's like 20 plus people.
It
was
escalated.
Like,
God, that
the
one
first night was like 20 people. The second night was like 30 people.
Yeah.
It
was 20 something of us walking down the block trying to find somewhere to eat.
Well, so what happened was,
you got to tell that story.
So we were gonna go to this taco place, and so like people know this, but like I don't drink. Like my girlfriend doesn't drink. And we try to go in, and the guy's like IDing us, and we're like, hey, like we don't even drink, and like Ashley forgot her ID at the Airbnb, and Ashley's like, hey, like I have a photo of my ID, like is that fine? The guy was like, no, get fucked. And so everyone like arrives.
He did not actually.
He definitely did not say it like that.
No, but he was.
Yes,
he pretty much.
Yeah.
And he was the guy was super super rude. So we got like everyone together, like everyone's like pulling up, and like the parking sucks. So
the parking was horrible.
So by the point that everyone congregated, we had like 20 people outside, and we're like, Ashley and I were both like, look, you guys just go in, it's fine. Like we'll just catch up with everyone later. And like, who was it who said it? I think it was Rob. And Rob, someone was like,
it was Gio. Gio's like, there's a place down the street.
No. But I think Rob was like,
this is a family.
Yeah,
we're not tearing this family
He's
apart.
like, ain't no one leaving. He's like,
They're like, where's Zach? Zach was already inside eating. And like, Zach, we're going somewhere fucking else, bro.
Yeah,
they won't let us in.
So everyone just, no matter what, like they just refused to like let me and Ashley just leave.
So then we tried to go to another place up the street. And they were like, cool, we don't check IDs. So it was like, cool. So we get about halfway there. It was like a mile up the road. And we're like, should we call them and see if they can sit 26 people?
Yeah.
And so we're like, yeah, probably. So they put Ashley on hold for 10 minutes. And then they go, hey, we don't have room for that many people. And they hung up. And we're like.
So then it was
also like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
It was super late.
We kept going. And like it hit the point where like we were several miles away.
Yeah, we went to a pizza store, and that was
the
crazy.
Pizza thing was so funny. So the pizza place, for context, was 5 square feet.
Yeah, it was nothing.
It was nothing. And Faith is like, we're eating in here. She's like, I don't give a shit. We're eating in here. She opened the door and immediately went, nope, and then just closed.
And then Gio just turns like, there's another taco place. It's literally right there.
Yeah.
So we go.
Ashley had to show her ID.
We walk up, and they're asking for IDs, and Ashley like shows she's like, hey, I have it on my phone, and the guy goes, come on in.
Yeah.
And like we could all almost cry because it was freezing.
It was so cool.
Also love that this was Callum's first night ever in
That's
America.
what I was about to say.
Callum's first night in America. And I turned to him and go, how's your first night, buddy? He goes, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah. So like we get there, like we get this
so
massive table, and we're all eating tacos. They're like out of like the shit we can eat essentially. So like we have to substitute
we had to
stuff.
sub all the shit out.
But at the end of it, like it was just super cool that like everyone was willing to like stick it out and like be there together. And we ended up having like a really good time just hanging out. Like Callum's from the UK, so like we just made him say a bunch of shit and like
in British, bro. It was great.
In British.
But
me and Callum really connected over the Chris Chan documentary, and man, that's how I knew me and him were gonna be best friends.
Yeah, I love Callum. So like I don't know.
That was the first night. Yeah, that was good. The second night, we went back to that fucking place. We went, fuck you.
Yeah.
We got IDs, and we got 12 more people.
Yeah, so like we went and we literally like stole all the tables.
Literally.
Like
every table.
like
every table that place had.
A couple had to move over. Like we asked them nicely, and like they were cool with it. But like we got like all the tables and the bar area completely to ourselves, and like people just kept showing up, and like people we didn't even invite, but they were from the convention, and they were like, "Hey, we want to come with y'all."
Yeah.
So we ended up like 30 people.
At least.
It was more than 30, man. It was a lot of people.
Yeah, it was great. It was insane. So many people.
And then the last night we went out, and God, we stayed at that place way too long, and then we drove.
Left.
Yeah, you guys left.
I wanted.
We were like, me and Josh were like, we're
honestly,
just gonna see what it's like. You know, we're just gonna hang out. It's like 10:30. Like we'll stay for 20 minutes. 3 hours later,
Michael was like, let's just drive, and I kind of pressured him into going to this restaurant because I was like, I don't know, I was just riding the high of the weekend. I was like, I want to see these people one more time. Like I want to go out to dinner one more time. But we had fun. I wish we did not stay so late,
Yep, same.
but it was fun.
Yep.
But we have to talk about parking on the first night real quick because
Dude,
I will not
all
let
right.
this die.
That was the second night. It was the second night. One thing, I've never parallel
No, it
parked
was the
before
first
in
night.
my the first
Because
night. The first time
it
we
was
went to
the
Bois
night
Bar.
Oh, you're right.
Dude, I was
You're
the
right.
parallel park champ.
I never parallel parked before in my life, so I had Josh do it the first time, and then
I
he
taught
taught
him.
me how to parallel park, and I was like,
And then he killed it. So proud.
I was like, I only had to do this on the driver's test, and I never had to do it again.
Yeah.
So.
So the second night, when Ashley couldn't get into the bar,
And we walked.
Michael parked so far away. And like we circled the block a couple times. It was hard to find parking. I will give him that. But when he decided to park, I was like, dude, this is too far. And he's like, no, it's fine. It's like, dude, it's too far. He's like, no, it's fine. We'll just walk. It's going to be fine. So then as we're walking, I'm like, this was too far. And we get up to everyone. And like the first thing I say is like, Michael parks so far away. And Michael's like, no, it's only 2 blocks, man. And then after we walked so far from Michael's car, that was the same night we walked multiple miles to a different restaurant. And so then Mitch was riding back with us, and I'm so glad Mitch was there because he can prove that I'm not insane. By the time we got back to the taco
It was maybe
restaurant,
3 blocks. Dude.
No, dude, minimum 5 to 6 blocks. It was so fun, and these are big. These are big blocks. Richmond's got big blocks, so
Shit, built for horses, bro.
It was so far. I was miserable, and then also, you guys not so much because you guys were tattooing most of the days, but like. Michael and I were walking a lot during the convention. Like we were checking on people, looking at the booths, saying what's up. Like so, I probably walked more that weekend than
You
I
should
have
check
all
your,
year.
Do you have your phone on you? You should check your steps.
I'll look. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was like, all right, I'm gonna go do this. Josh, go check the times for this, and we would break.
Yeah.
I forgot my jacket that night.
Oh yeah.
So I
Mitch
was like-
Mitch forgot his
cool.
jacket, but
Yeah.
refused to put his sleeves down.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what he was
yeah,
like. He was walking around bitching about the cold,
He's
and
like, man, it's so fucking
and,
cold
like,
in here.
at one point
We're like,
I
put your
turned-
sleeves, and he's like, I can't.
Something
Yeah.
about Mitch is
I mean,
he sticks to his guns. He's like,
Dude,
I'm
my-
not sleeping
my
on the
shirt
couch.
was like-
I'm
I
not
will-
rolling my sleeves down.
I had a long sleeve shirt, but it was like a very thin shirt. And they're like, bro, roll your sleeves down. I was like, yeah, get the protection of this napkin from like the 40
Dude, it
degree
would've helped a
weather.
little
Like
bit.
whatever, you know? And like at that point, they're already giving me crap about it. So I was like, whatever.
And then he did it again.
I gotta look cool.
Yeah, we're
you know?
trying to cross the
I can't.
street
I
again.
can't sacrifice.
Luckily,
appearance,
the
man.
restaurant we ended up at, you sat right in front of the heater.
Oh yeah,
so
that
you
was
were
so
toasty.
nice. Dude.
Yeah.
My back was on fire. It was
Yeah.
great.
So you said you had questions for them.
I
Oh,
do
yeah.
have questions
Yeah,
for
we
you
have
guys.
questions.
So, when Chris first brought them on, y'all kind of said what your goals were for like tattooing and like what you kind of like were hoping to kind of get into eventually, and like I've always kind of felt like whatever you think you're gonna do, it always changes a little bit, and like you get different perspectives on things. You see like new artists, you see how things actually are in some cases, or like what they look like healed. Was there any like person's work or like any like genre of tattoo that you maybe are like more drawn to now that you've like spent some time around other people? Like, because like when you're around like just Chris, you're gonna
Yeah.
be drawn to stuff like that because he's the guy you're learning from. You will be. I mean, that's like
Yeah,
that kind of
fuck
stuff
Chris,
tends
bro.
to be like your frame of reference. So like, do you have any different opinions now, or like has anything changed since you guys went?
So I hung out with mostly black and gray artists, like the
Yeah,
most.
the whole
so
time
I was like,
just with black and gray
especially
artists.
Esco and Gio and Alan, like in the Sad Fan booth, they were the people that were like tattooing that I kept going to check on, and they were like, dude, color's the worst, dude. Don't do color. I still want to do color. Like I love color tattoos, but it was funny because they were like telling me all of these pros of doing black and gray work or black work, and I was like, it does sound nice, but I still want to do color.
It was so funny going from them. They were like, don't do color, dude. Color's the worst. You literally, I would go over to Russell 5
Yeah,
seconds later.
Russell
Russell
like, what's
bro,
black?
fuck black and gray, bro. Like, that shit's stupid.
Yeah, it is.
He's like, color, I can fix that. Black and gray is black.
What's funny about that though is like all those the same artists like Alan, Gio,
Yeah.
Wade, they would always come over to mine and like look at like the color and they're like, that shit's sick though.
Yeah.
Like they would love it.
Yeah, for sure. It's just funny because like I went to, first of all, Esco was like tattooing on the tiniest thing ever. He was like just
He
tucked-
won that, dude. That was.
I
there
know
was a
he got
prize
third
for
place
them.
that day. He was tucked in a corner like on the tiniest little armrest, and he just had a bottle of black ink, and that's like all he brought with him. So it's so funny. Like, and then Chris meanwhile had like 8 bags of colors of inks.
I
and
had a
stuff, so-
bottle of Allegory, a
Yeah.
bottle of white, and like
Yeah.
2 reds. That
Yeah.
was it.
So that was funny, but no, I wouldn't say it changed my mind on it. it was really cool to see all those different artists working, and like definitely inspirational for sure, like seeing how everybody does their thing. And no, I mean, I think I still want to do a similar style to what I want to do, or what I have wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think like I basically the style I said I want to do is kind of like cutesy, kawaii, chibi. I definitely want to have elements of that, but I don't want it to be like that is the only thing I do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You always have a little bit of wiggle room.
I really like,
sure.
I mean, I would just like the idea of mixing the style. I've always thought that was the coolest thing to do, is just like pull from different people that inspire me. So I want to have elements of that with elements of other people I really like. So yeah. If I can ever put color in like Artie, my mind was blown every time I stopped by Artie's tattoo.
Yeah,
he had like 80 colors out, and I was like, he was using all of them, and I was like, this is insane. His brain is just different.
Yeah.
That man's playing chess.
Crazy stuff.
Do you guys have like any different perspective on like, because like whenever you're at a shop, right? It's like I learned this because like for the longest time I didn't even go to any kind of conventions because like I was kept in a bubble.
Yeah.
And like I was always told like, you know, like just stay here, like we have all the knowledge, like there's no need to branch out, which is completely stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, you guys are just always at the shop, and like I know we have guest artists and stuff all the time, but like, did you gain any other kind of like perspective, like stepping out, like versus just like being at the shop normally?
Yeah, I like everything with Chris that Chris does is very, this is the plan. I'm not deviating from the plan.
Yeah.
This is the plan. And I would go over to like Chris Rogers or Alan or somebody like that, and they're just like, I'm gonna just splash some Sharpie on this, and that's the background. And I think that'll work. And like Chris Rogers is literally over there with like a Sharpie, and then he wipes it off. He's like, that's it. Or like Alan's just over there with a marker and just,
Dude.
cool. That's it. Yeah, that's the background. That's it. And I'm like, it can be as structured or as unstructured as you need it to be.
I'm way more like Alan with stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff in my tattoos that aren't stenciled at all.
Yeah.
You just kind of do it.
So it's nice to see like both ends of that spectrum. It's good to have a plan.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need to deviate from the
I
plan.
also want to say that's actually why I like black and gray so much, because I like being able to do that. And just, I mean, like, I know Chris Rogers does it and he doesn't color, but I think like Chris likes color so much because he's very structured and he's able to kind of like go from point A to point B in like a very like specific fashion.
Yeah.
And like black and gray, you can build it. You can go back to the first thing that you did towards the end of the tattoo, and you can still, if you're doing black work, it gets a little different when you're doing like opaques and stuff, but that's besides the point. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think another thing, I already knew that Chris is very fast for how big of pieces he does, but that was definitely something like walking around the convention, seeing people doing much smaller pieces taking way longer than Chris.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's people that were starting before the doors open and still tattooing after like everybody was leaving. Like,
Crazy. Yeah.
yeah.
Couldn't be me, dude.
Well, I have a question for you guys. You
Yeah.
guys spent a lot more time walking around than me and Chris did because we were tattooing every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one personally, but did you see a tattoo that was your, I know, like, not like talking about best of day and like, you know, you don't have to say Chris because he's your mentor, but
Chris was
is
the
there
best.
is there a tattoo that you guys saw that stuck out to you? It's like your favorite tattoo of the weekend.
Artie's was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing was insane.
It's hard to beat that.
It was hard to beat that. The only other thing that I was like loving like that much was that Chainsaw Man.
I was about
That
to
Alan did?
Alan Grima's
That was
Chainsaw Man. That
insane.
was my
that thing was
favorite
awesome.
tattoo.
Yeah, I would
of
have
the
to break
weekend.
it into categories.
I walked up and I saw it and I was like, holy
I walked
crap,
over
dude,
to
he's
Artie's
so good.
piece when he was like 3/4 of the way. And I was like, bro, what the fuck is this? He's like, oh, dude, we're making progress. I'm like, bro, that shit done. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this is going to sound like I'm like kissing Chris's butt.
Dude.
That
Kiss it.
the Dobby,
The Dobby was
it's
great.
genuinely the best. I think it's my favorite tattoo that he's done so far,
Thank you.
and especially that I've seen in person. And I stand by he got robbed that day. But I
Hashtag stop the steal.
no, I loved that tattoo. I would say Esco's, Artie's, Allen's, and Chris's.
Yeah.
Those were the four probably the favorite ones I saw.
I loved your guts. I did love that.
Thanks.
I like your Hosher a lot.
The Hashra was really good too.
I thought that was the best one you did all
Thank you.
weekend.
Appreciate
That's
that.
funny. I think the Guts was my
I
favorite.
think the Zorro was my favorite one that I did.
I love
If I had
that.
to pick
Zorro
one.
was really good.
My favorite one that
I
you
think-
did was the Gundam.
Really?
The Gundam was really cool.
The light trail off of it was really
It was cool.
I liked that a lot.
I
like
really
that.
liked all three that you did.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I had the pleasure of like the first day, the Hawkeye tattoo I did, it tied directly into Mike's, and Mike sadly had to leave the convention. But that day I actually got to go up to him. Like, this is always like a special thing when you're with another artist that you respect and you get to talk to them about tying into their work, because I got to go up to him and be like, hey, like, so, like, this is the tattoo I'm doing. It's right next to yours. What would you prefer for me to do? Right? Because like, you want to be as respectful as possible. And he told me, like, he gave me some advice about how to tie it in. Got to do it. Sadly, he didn't get to see it, but that was really cool. And then the second day I got to tie into Serena's tattoo, which that was funny because
she was there.
I had never met her before.
I love her work too.
Yeah, she's great. And so I went up to her prior to starting the tattoo. Like, it was stenciled, and I was like, hey, what's up? It's me. We follow each other on the internet. I'm tattooing next to your tattoo today. And she was like, oh, that's cool. And so she came by later when I was probably like 80% of the way done with the tattoo. And she like walked into the booth and like looked at my tattoo and went, fuck you. And I was like, what? And she was like, what was her exact wording?
I wasn't there. I got told that.
What did she say? She said, she said, you can fuck off.
Oh.
And I was like, why? What's up? And she was like, you made mine look like shit. Which, her tattoo looked great.
Yeah, it healed up really nice.
Yeah, but she was just saying like it was pretty basic. Like, it's like she's gotten a lot better since then, which I do agree. Like, the tattoo's good, but she is like really, really good now. So like getting like that type of like reassurance from other artists that you respect, that's a really cool thing because you get to do it in like real time, you know?
Yeah.
So it's nice because like there's all these people that like you always like look up to. Like, I've looked up to like several artists for a long time, and when they like give you this same kind of like love back, like in person, that's a super crazy experience.
Yeah, it's definitely different in person. Like, because someone can leave a comment on your post, but it's like, are they being genuine or not? But if you're talking to them, like, you can feel when they're being genuine.
Yeah.
I have something to say.
Dude, yeah, say it.
All right. So, this is the only time ever that I've been in Disney World and been jealous of where my friends are at.
Oh man, I wanted John to come with us so bad, dude.
I will be there next year.
Yeah, you're gonna come.
We'll bring everyone next year.
It's gonna be a video.
Bring Brett.
Team.
Yeah, we can bring John can do video and stuff next year.
That'd be sick.
That'd be sick. Yeah,
you'd have so much fun there, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I know I would.
Yeah,
it'd be great.
Yo, shout out to the lady that pierced my nose.
Oh
yeah,
and
my
Mitch's
ear.
And Mitch's ear.
That was crazy too.
Literally on the way out.
Yeah, and that was crazy because like that was the girl who's with Dead Meat.
Yeah.
And like I went up and met him, and like I've followed Dead Meat forever. It's like back when I did Neotrad, and he was so nice to me.
Nicest guy.
And immediately I was like, these are my apprentices or whatever. And Michael wanted to get pierced, and
I didn't even know the piercing thing was a thing. She was like, man, just nobody came up today and got anything pierced. I was like, you're doing piercings?
yeah.
I was like, I want something pierced.
Yeah.
But when she found out that they were apprentices, they gave him a discount and stuff. I'm like, that was
That's
super
sick,
nice. And
dude.
yeah, Josh told me that a couple people, like Josh, like introduced himself to a couple people, and he like would talk. I don't know exactly what you were just saying, that people were like really nice to you when you told them that you were an apprentice.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, just like
It was super accepting. Of
everybody was super sweet, and yeah, it was awesome. Man, I had something I was gonna say, and now I can't remember.
I was looking at somebody's booth, and I was just like, oh yeah, like this is cool. I was like, it's not $20 cool. Like, I'm not saying like that, but I was like, I don't have $20 to spend on this. They're like, you're an apprentice, just take it. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I love that. That's the experience you guys had. I remember there'd be like some people I'd talk to that were like maybe older, and they'd be like I'd talk to you like move, boy, better keep moving, or like something like that. So yeah, all right, like whatever.
I was invited into so many booths just to sit and watch and just hang out.
Good.
Yeah. That was super cool too. Everyone was like super willing. I was like, would you be cool if I watched your Philly? Like, yeah, of course. Come hang out. So that was super cool. I think one thing I took away from the experience is whenever I do start tattooing at conventions, I definitely do not want to be tattooing the entire convention. Like, because it was so nice to be able to go spend time and hang out with people. Like, some people came and didn't tattoo at all. I don't think I'd go that far. But I would probably want to do like either small pieces every day or 2 days and have a full day to just hang out. Like, it was so nice.
I did 3 pretty big pieces.
You both did. You
Bro,
both were like
Mitch, you hit him
it
with
was
the
crazy.
quickness, dude. You were
You went really
on
fast.
turbo mode.
Yeah, I had to be.
Yeah.
But I did 3 big pieces, and like I don't regret tattooing every day. I think I'll still do that if I go next year. But I'll probably do 2 big pieces, and the
And a small
third day
piece.
I'll do something small.
Yeah.
Probably. I think
Yeah.
it's the move.
I like doing big pieces every day.
I know. Well, you yeah.
I also
You guys also are like in a position to compete, definitely. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo, anime tradition, I'm coming up to you next year, babe.
hey, oh yeah, that was a category.
There was
too.
a category,
yeah.
and like 3 people entered it, so 4 about to be in that bitch.
No, it was cool, man. I'm like really proud of like the whole anime community. I think it was a good experience, and everyone was super accepting. You know, like artists who I really like were coming up to me being like, "Yo, Mitch is so fucking good."
Oh,
I mean?
little
Yeah.
Mitchie.
He
Like,
literally the last thing Alan said to me as we were hugging goodbye is, "Tell Mitch to keep killing it." Like,
Well, I feel like a dick because like I met Alan and like he was just like kind of quiet. Like we just sort of like shook
He's
hands. We're
quiet.
like, hey, what's up, man? And like afterwards, they were like, yeah, like I don't remember what you guys said, but he said something very nice to me,
yeah,
and like I just didn't hear it.
Process it,
So
yeah.
I like didn't. I guess he like said it. I just didn't acknowledge it, and like I'm like proud of my work, but like I think Alan for like the Blackwork stuff is just on a completely different level.
That man
He's
won
so
2
good,
awards in
dude.
one
yeah.
day.
He won second and
He's
third.
He won
so
second and third place.
disgusting at Blackwork
Watching Alan
tattoos.
tattoo was the
So-
craziest shit ever
Yeah.
because he's like using a fucking ballpoint pen.
Yeah.
and he's just like,
So
What's
like
up, man?
him saying
And
like anything like that is like, thank you. Yeah.
Shout out to Nyx too. His partner tattooed her first tattoo ever at Anime,
Yeah,
and it
it
was
looked great.
That
really
thing was
good.
crazy.
It's really
Good.
good.
It was really
shout
good.
out to Nick.
Little
Go follow
Pochita.
Nick.
Speaking of, Chris was giving a shout out to the anime community. The only thing I can really compare it to is like I played music for a while and I did festivals and stuff, and vastly different. Like people in bands are dickheads in
Yeah.
general, and like comparing the music community and how egotistical people are to how humble and welcoming the people were at this convention is like night and day.
Tattooing can be like that.
I'm sure it can. That's why I
you want
said
this fucking
no,
panther,
here-
bro?
Definitely
here's
can,
what's
dude.
crazy is like the other conventions I've been to, right? People were dickheads.
yeah.
You know, because you had like your normal like black and gray realistic artists or like normal like just old school tattooers. But like with this, like there's like a bunch of different styles, but it all falls under the umbrella of like anime, and like
Right.
because of that, everyone was just super cool. Like you had people who like I saw like really big name artists like being like super like buddy with people who have like 1,000 followers, and like I'm so glad that like no one gave a fuck about like follower counts.
Yeah.
The people who were hanging out with other people, like it was super chill. Like I mean, Esco was tattooing in the Sad Fan booth,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have that many followers, but he's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like people were
He needs
just
more. Follow him.
yeah,
Yeah,
Esco
please
Sama.
follow Esco.
like everyone was just showing like so much like mutual respect, and like the fact that everyone like I know a couple people like Josh told a couple people that like he was like my apprentice, and people were like super like nice about that.
Good.
And I don't know, like that's such a different experience than like other conventions where like I've seen apprentices get treated like complete hot garbage. You know what I mean? Or like
Yeah.
you'll have like a booth of like 10 people at a normal convention, and there's like one person's apprentice, like all 10 people like make him the one person go for like a coffee run and run the stencils and like run the person to the ground, not let them eat all day, you know? And it's like
Yeah.
that's the kind of shit like I'm used to. So like
Yeah.
coming into this and just seeing everyone be like oh, like you guys are apprentices, like
Yeah, I mean,
what do you
said-
want, you know?
Kevin,
Like
Kevin Parise just held my hand while I got my nose pierced. He's like, I'm just so proud of you, buddy. I'm just so
Not
proud of
only
you."
was everyone super
I was
nice,
like, I
but
love
literally Thomas, the client on the second day, brought us gifts. Like we've never
Yeah.
even tattooed in our life. He just watches the podcast. Which, if you are watching, Thomas,
Love you, Thomas.
Love you.
Yeah.
Yeah. He brought me a big Pochita plushie. I love it so much. He not only did he bring us gifts, but he like watches the podcast.
Dude,
and specifically
how
brought
weirdly
us.
specific Mitch's gift was
Yeah,
mine.
it was so
it was
good.
awesome.
Oh god.
So I don't know. This
Thomas had
that's
to go
just
out of his way
so
to
cool.
make you those
Yeah.
stickers.
Dude, I have to say thank you if you're listening.
Yeah.
For context, really quick, not to cut you off.
No,
just
go
to
ahead.
explain
That's all I
this.
was
You guys
saying.
we
brought
can
it
end
up.
on this because we're
Yeah.
we're there.
So I don't think I look that much like this guy, but there's this dude named Tyler Posey.
Okay,
who
you do.
fucking star in Teen
Okay,
Wolf.
Teen Wolf.
Okay,
And
team.
like, I don't know. I don't even think we've ever talked about that on the podcast
We-
specifically. So
we have once very briefly.
yeah,
did
I'm like,
passing.
it's like John always says, he's like, that's a deep cut. But
Yeah, there you
it's
go.
a
It is a
cut.
deep
That
cut in
is-
our
yeah.
friendship.
But he gave me this really surprisingly nice cup, not like a thermos, but just like a cup, and it's got Tyler Posey tattoos on it. It's like it's got like an app for it, like it's on Instagram, and it's got,
it was like Tanjiro.
Yeah, it's got like Demon Slayer stuff on it. I was like, this is really specific. Like,
literally,
thank you. You know,
he went out of his way. He found me on Friday night and was like, I didn't know Ashley was coming with you guys. What's her favorite anime? So I like gave him a couple, and somewhere in the convention he found something for her.
He's like,
it's crazy.
Your tattoo breakfast. We have to know.
Yeah, dude, literally.
Yeah, dude showed up with a Yu-Gi-Oh pop, and I was like, oh, my God.
That's.
I had to run down and show Wade. I was like, wait, look.
Yeah, that's crazy because like literally every time Michael and I go anywhere in public that has pops, the first thing Michael does is he's like, I gotta go see if they got the Yu-Gi-Oh pops, and my client,
They never do.
My client just showed up and gave Michael a really big one.
The best one.
yeah,
It was crazy.
cool.
Like, but I don't know. The community is super, super nice, and all my clients were great.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait for Miami. I can't wait for video game. It's gonna be great.
Dude,
yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
I'm stoked.
I'm glad that people watch the podcast and like take away something nice from it. You know, like we even just had a bunch of people come up to us and just tell us that they were fans of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Super cool.
That was
Super weird.
super crazy. So
yeah. Thank you if you listen.
Yeah,
to us,
seriously.
and follow us or anything like that.
Thank you, audio listeners. Thank you, video listeners.
Tell it to him real sexy like Michael.
Shout out to Liz.
Not even
fighting the Lich King.
We saw Liz a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's here for AWA.
Shout out to Kevin. I'm gonna always say that you're the worst tattooer in the game for that Ink Master bit. So thank you for that. And anybody want to call out a state or a celebrity?
Virginia.
Yeah. That's,
Dude, we'll talk about the Airbnb next week. It was literally hell.
It was rough.
yeah,
Josh, the closet in Josh's room, he was so scared the first night. He's like, bro, I can't.
I was
do this.
scared.
can I call it a celebrity in a positive way?
You may.
Sure.
Bryce Pembroke, the guy who voices
yeah.
Inosuke.
Oh yeah.
And Aaron Yeager, I met him, and he now has one of our Nimbus shirts, or one of our hoodies.
Yeah,
that-
hoodie,
Inosuke,
yeah.
And he follows me, and we checked. He doesn't follow any other anime tattooers. So
He was-
that
it
is
was a,
crazy.
He was a very nice guy. Yeah. He was so stoked. He was like, whoa, look at this hoodie. And we're like,
Yeah.
bro,
He,
this is
he was like, if you tattoo any of my characters, tag me, and I'll share it. I was like, I sure fucking will.
shout out to him. Fuck Virginia.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you in whatever episode numbers next. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bye.
Eat your vegetables.
Happy Halloween.
Eat your
Happy
vegetables. Stay
Halloween.
hydrated.
Get lots of sleep.
Yeah, make sure you sleep.
Don't tan the part of your body that you're gonna get tattooed for like 2 weeks prior or get sunburned.
If you're applying numbing cream, please slap it and wrap it in saran wrap.
Slap it and wrap it. And on that, we're out.
I hate you, Josh.